Alright, I recently discovered the last testimony of my great-grandfather, and I found it very interesting, and I kind of just wanted to share it with you guys. So if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and read it. This was written by Reverend W. Wade Bunce. Introduction. How beautiful heaven must be. I was visiting Brother Arthur Hicks in a hospital at Bruford, and on this visit he asked Mrs. Hicks and Reverend Bobby Biggerstaff if they would mind his talking to me in private. They excused themselves, and Brother Hicks began telling me of some experiences he had had over the last 3 weeks. I have been the pastor of Mr. Hicks for the last 4 years, and have been the pastor of other churches for the past 16. I have been with many people when they passed on to the other world, including my mother when she left for heaven. I have heard of others who have given their last testimony, but this was the first time in my ministry that I had the opportunity to hear directly from a man's lips who had been in the very presence of God in heaven. I would like to give you his testimony. Part 1. His unworthy feeling. Arthur said that he had not been as faithful to the Lord or his church as he wished he had. He said that he felt unworthy to be called a child of God. He said if he could live his life over again, he would try to make every minute count for the Lord. He described this with awful regret, but nevertheless the Lord found favor in him and allowed him to talk to heavenly beings and to see heaven as it really was. He said he would not enter it yet, but he would at a later time. Part 2. What he saw. He said that he had seen heaven and that it was a city of pure gold. He said my watch and my rings was not pure gold. He said they were temporal and not lasting. But heaven was pure and everlasting. The gold was pure and faded not away. He described the gold in heaven as clear as crystal. Not only could you see through it, but you could walk through it, and it was real. That God was real and heaven was real, but the things of this world were not real. Part 3. The receiving of a chain. He said that even though the doors were not open for him at this time, they gave him a chain and told him to hold on to that chain until he returned again. The thing he could not understand about it was that he could keep it and hold on to it. He said he was asked to give it to 4 others, and that he found to be worthy to receive it, and that he had the power to give it to others whom he pleased. He said that he wanted to give me that chain. I told him to keep it, that it wasn't meant for me, and it was meant for him, and to lay it at the feet of Jesus or in his nail-scarred hands as a trophy when he returned. He said, I will have it when I return. I will lay it at his feet. I will place it in his nail-scarred hands. But first I must give it to you and 3 others. He placed it in my hand and said, Preacher, you have it. You can't see it with your natural eye, but you have it. You keep it and hold on to it forever. He said this chain had 4 anchors on it, and those 4 anchors were holding the universe together. The earth and all those who dwelled there within are kept in the power of his word, which is in those 4 anchors. If this chain were to break the reach of heaven to earth, this world would collapse in split seconds. He said this chain was not visible with the natural eye. It was a powerful chain of pure gold. In conclusion, when Bobby and Mrs. Hicks returned back in their room, we were all with him for a few more moments. When we were leaving the room, Arthur said, Preacher, you hold on to that I gave you. Don't let it go. I said I'll try. I have learned from Mrs. Hicks since he related this story to her. She wondered what he had given me, and she searched the room to see what was missing. He told her that he had 3 links on a chain to go, and he died 3 days later. He asked if I had called from Miami, Florida, and she said no. She asked him if he wanted her to call, and he said that I would be there, and I was. Let's remember there are many good things we could say about Arthur, but I'll close with this. Good night down here and good morning up there. A prayer from the family and friends. God help us to be ready to meet you when you call. And that's it. It's the entire thing. I found that very interesting, and I think there is an actual longer version of this which I'm trying to get my hands on. And I've translated this many different ways in my head in the past few days since I found this. And I kind of want to start researching a little bit and getting in touch with his family and friends and people he might have known that might still be alive and find out more about what this actually means and maybe the other 3 people that received chains and what he actually told to them. But I found that very, very interesting. It's big interesting part of my family, I guess. I'm back in Phoenix now. As everybody might know, had a rough trip. I've been on 8 different planes in the past 2 months. It's been a long time for me, but I've been having a blast doing this YouTube thing, and I hope everybody's having a good time. Keep looking out. More vegan videos coming up, more eco-friendly videos coming up, and as always, a lot more craziness you can expect out of me. Have a good night, everybody, and hope everybody's well. Much love.